The scene erupts, and Vlad becomes a storm, tearing through the mob like they're low-level mobs in a tutorial area. They try to corner him, but the skill gap is massive. Vlad is moving different, dodging and weaving with precision. Sunin is screaming from the backline, trying to micromanage his team, but it's no use. Vlad is simply too OP. Sunin is stunned. 2 months ago, Vlad was a noob, and now he's unstoppable. Refusing to take the L, Sunin threatens his own team with death if they retreat. Vlad loses patience and walks toward the ringleader, asking if he's ever actually deleted someone IRL. That jab hits a nerve. Sunin swings with lethal intent, but Vlad slips past it effortlessly. He starts countering, flashing back to the undead expedition. He's not just sparring, he's fighting for his life out of habit. He hammers Sunin with a combo that leaves no room to breathe, forcing the bully to just spam curses in panic. Vlad finally knocks Sunin to the ground, breaking his ankles metaphorically and almost physically. The loudmouth is wailing, but looks up to see a wooden sword inches from his face. Vlad is towering over him, looking like he's about to finish the kill. Sunin starts crying, accepting his fate, but Vlad stops the blade at the last second, slamming it into the ground. He delivers the final verdict. Look at me again, and you're cooked. Touch the fat kid again, and it's over. Sunin nods, traumatized. Vlad turns to the other 13 guys and asks, "Who's next?" The fear debuff is active. No one moves. Vlad walks them down, dispensing justice like an admin banning hackers. He leaves them bruised and bloody, carving a lesson into them they won't forget. High above, Count Bezid watches the whole thing, realizing Vlad definitely has that dog in him. A few days later, the night meeting is tense. The lobby is split between Rudiger's salty faction and Joseph's vibing crew. Joseph's side finally has the momentum. Bezid notices the shift and smiles at Jurga, who is confused by the attention. As the meeting wraps, the toxicity spills over. A Rudiger knight mocks Jurga for recruiting a rabid dog with no background. Jurga stops, and the tension spikes, but Gregory slides in to de-escalate with humor. After the group disperses, Gregory tells Jurga the rumors. Vlad performed a massive exorcism on the bullies, and the word on the street is that he's outgrown the training arc. Jurga feigns ignorance, but internally he's glazing his own student. He knows he trained a monster. Gregory tries to use this info to get a favor, but Jurga leaves him on red, walking away with quiet pride. The scene shifts to the loot drop. A set of armor is revealed, and it's S tier. It's grey orc leather, rare material only found in the high-level north zones. The knights are shook. Joseph confirms it's a gift from Count Bezid to Vlad. The Count is fully backing the kid now. Joseph realizes Vlad must have done something legendary to earn this skin in just a month. Jorger agrees, admitting Vlad has gapped every other vassal in the server. Joseph warns them not to get complacent though. The rumors are spreading, and eyes are on them. Just then, Joseph pulls out an envelope sealed in red wax. The vibe shifts instantly. It looks like a new main quest just dropped, and judging by the color, it's going to be on nightmare mode. The tutorial is officially over. Joseph gets a letter that changes the whole server meta. He asks Jorga if he's down to handle some heavy lifting, and Jorga, who's been stuck on janitor duty, is ready to crash out. They head to Damar, a city famous for lemons and being a strategic choke point. In the carriage, Joseph starts yapping about the lore, explaining that crisis equals opportunity. He's looking to secure the bag by third-partying a succession war within the Hanel family. Vlad is trying to process the 4D chess, realizing noble life is way more toxic than he thought. The tea is hot. Alicia Hanel is the rightful heir, but her uncle Indra is gaslighting the whole region, claiming she's an illegitimate child so he can steal the Baron title. Joseph decides to back Alicia because they're technically distant cousins, glazing the family tree, and it's a chance to gain a powerful ally. Meanwhile, Jorger is absolutely flaming Vlad for riding in the carriage. He's calling Vlad a fake noble and back-alley brat because he can't ride horse yet. Jorger has zero chill. Jorger continues his rant, trying to give Vlad a debuff with his harsh words. Vlad tries to ignore the toxicity, but suddenly his chest starts vibrating like a controller. It's not anxiety. The ground is literally shaking. It's an earthquake caused by a death worm, a glitchy remnant from the Dragon era. While the knights are panicking and the horses are tweaking, Vlad looks at the massive monster trail and thinks it's absolutely bussin'. He's got that dog in him for real, treating a raid boss like a cool cutscene. They arrive at Soul City, the Hanel stronghold. Joseph tells Vlad to go touch grass and explore the map because this upcoming duel is a rare team event. He wants Vlad to soak up the XP. Jorga, still salty, warns Vlad not to get grieved in some sketchy alley. Vlad tries to act confident, but Jurga hits him with the skill issue card again regarding the horse riding. Vlad explores the estate and realizes the Hanel family is down bad financially. The place looks mid and neglected. Vlad's sword starts vibrating, unlocking a memory of a specific tree on a hill. Vlad heads to the graveyard, proving he's got main character energy. He sees a neglected grave and decides to clean it up out of respect. He tries to vibe with the sword, planting it in the ground. The sword spirit finally logs in, admitting it remembers this spot. While Vlad is in his feels, the spirit senses something watching them. It's not an enemy mob, but something familiar. The sword spirit asks to pilot Vlad's body for a sec. Vlad agrees, and suddenly his aura spikes. He looks up to see a massive white snake spirit coiled in the tree. Vlad is shook, thinking he's about to get spawn camped, but the spirit explains the snake is chill. It gives off major healing vibes, like spring season arriving. Just as Vlad is admiring the rare spawn, a voice interrupts him. It's a blue-haired woman, and she is pressing him about trespassing. The woman demands to know who he is. Vlad flashes his badge like an admin, proving he's with Bezid. He realizes he's been standing on a VIP grave and panics, thinking Jorga will ban him if he finds out. He tries to strike a deal with the maid, offering to clean the grave if she keeps her mouth shut. She looks at him with a sus grin and agrees to let him do the manual labor. Vlad thinks he secured the bag, but he actually just played himself. Later, Vlad spectates a scrim between Sir Colin and Sir Pablo. The gameplay is insane. Colin is a ruthless tank, and Pablo's defense build is unbreakable. Vlad watches them move and realizes the skill gap is massive. He's been playing on easy mode while these guys are on nightmare difficulty. The sword voice confirms these guys are sweaty tryhards. Vlad has a moment of clarity, realizing how much grinding he needs to do to catch up to the current meta. It's duel day. Vlad is assisting Jorga with his loadout. Jorga tells him to lock in and stop looking like a scared noob. Vlad spots Indra, the toxic uncle, across the field. The vibes are atrocious. Jorga notices Vlad is nervous and gives him a harsh reality check. He's still a starter character in a lobby full of max-level players. Vlad accepts the L and focuses. Then, the announcer calls for the head of the Hanel family to enter. Alicia Hanel walks out, and Vlad's soul leaves his body. It's the maid from the graveyard. The girl he tried to bribe with cleaning services is actually the princess. He literally told the server owner to watch him sweep. He is caught in 4K, absolutely cooked. She catches his eye, probably laughing internally at his clown behavior. Vlad realizes his riz was actually negative, and he might have just committed a bannable offense by accident. But there's no time to process the cringe because Alicia enters the arena with immaculate aura. Her playful vibe is gone, replaced by pure queen energy as she takes the throne. A priest drops the lore and announces the succession duel. The tension is high-key suffocating. Knights are glaring like they're ready to crash out. It's not just a fight, it's for the whole legacy. Vlad stays bowed, praying she doesn't roast him later. The first match is a total disaster for the home team. Alicia's older knight, Sir Duncan, is getting absolutely wrecked. It's hard to watch. Alicia shouts, "GG," and surrenders to save him, but Duncan refuses to yield, catching major emotional damage. His opponent, a young buck named Seared, hits him with the "good match, Captain," and Duncan is shook. Imagine getting pity from the rookie you trained. That's a massive L. Seared secures the bag for Indra's team, and the uncles are glazing him hard. Duncan is left contemplating his whole existence while the scoreboard ticks up for the villains. The vibes are atrocious right now. Next up, Sir Jorger versus Sir Colin, the Warthog. Colin is an absolute unit, a sweaty try-hard relying on pure muscle and size. The rules say no aura, which sounds like a buff for the big guy, but Jorger is unbothered. He looks back at Vlad like, "Watch and learn, lil bro." He's about to turn this duel into a tutorial level. Colin comes out swinging like a raid boss with zero chill, trying to stat check Jorger with raw strength. But the one-eyed knight is playing 4D chess while Colin is playing checkers. Jorger blocks everything with a composed expression, proving that skill gap is a real thing. Colin is swinging at air, looking goofy. It's a total skill issue. Jorger is dancing around him like a matador, literally breaking his ankles. Then Jorger drops the taunt. All in. Colin rages and crashes out, charging in blind. Big mistake. Jorger spots the gap, the same gap he told Vlad to watch for, and hits a devastating counter. It's over in a split second. Colin is on his knees, gasping for air, realizing he just got played. Jorger walks away with GGEZ'd energy, asking Vlad if he took notes. Round 2 goes to the good guys, and Alicia can finally breathe. A total snake move. Joseph is fuming because they just got played like a fiddle. Indra is smirking, thinking he's secured the W by default because Alicia has no knights left. The audacity is off the charts. Indra thinks it's checkmate, but Joseph isn't folding. Indra thinks it's wraps, but Joseph stands on business. He refuses to let the match end, declaring the Bez family won't accept this scam. Indra tries to gaslight him, mocking his feelings, but Joseph hits him with the icy stare. Indra's advisor whispers that they can't upset the North, Joseph's fam, without starting a war, so Indra has to chill. Joseph demands the duel continue to save Alicia's rep. He needs a replacement fighter. Indra laughs, thinking they're out of options since Duncan is hurt and Ubayer was a traitor. But Joseph hits him with the "hold my beverage." Joseph points straight at Vlad. "I choose him." The crowd goes silent. Indra tries gatekeeping, saying a vassal can't fight a noble, but Joseph shuts him down with pure venom. He basically says, "Are you disrespecting my house?" and forces Indra to agree. Vlad is shook. He's just a squire facing a high-level knight. Georgia helps him gear up, but gives zero reassurances about surviving. Vlad is stressing, realizing he might actually get unalived in front of everyone. He asks if he's gonna die, and Georgia leaves him on read. The pressure is maxed out. Suddenly, Joseph hugs Vlad. It looks like a wholesome moment, but it's actually a strat meeting. He whispers, "Just survive for 10 minutes. It's a stall strat. They have reinforcements coming." Vlad realizes he doesn't have to win. He just has to not die. Easy, right? Not really. Vlad locks in, nodding. Pablo is talking mad trash, saying he'll end it in one hit. He's got zero respect. But that word worth triggers Vlad. He remembers his poverty days in Shuara and decides he's not gonna let this Nepo baby define him. Vlad charges with zero fear. They clash, sparks flying. Pablo is surprised the kid didn't fold instantly. Vlad is fighting like a feral wolf, aiming for the gaps Jorga showed him. Pablo realizes this isn't a tutorial bot. The kid has hands. The unworthy brat is actually putting up a fight, and Pablo's grin is fading fast. Vlad is taking heavy damage, basically tanking hits with his face. Pablo smashes him into a wall, and it looks grim, but the voice in Vlad's head is coaching him. Don't block, deflect. When Pablo goes for the finisher, Vlad enters a flow state. He pulls off the exact counter Jorga used earlier. He deflects the kill shot and stuns the whole arena. Even Pablo is confused, wondering if he's dreaming. Vlad is barely conscious, mumbling in a trance, channeling pure ultra instinct. He's running on 1 HP, but he just clipped Pablo's ego. The boy is locked in. Vlad has a flashback to being a total NPC with zero rights, just gazing at a sword he couldn't afford. He was down bad for a future where he actually mattered. Snapping back to reality, his eyes are burning with main character energy. He tells Pablo he wants to stand in the light, no cap. This sudden shift has Pablo shook. It's like the kid respawned with a massive buff. A crazy aura explodes around Vlad, looking like a blooming flower. The crowd, especially Indra, is absolutely gagged. Vlad's grip is steady despite the blood. He is completely locked in and ready to crash out. Sir Jorga is caught in 4K watching Vlad use a technique he wasn't supposed to know yet. He's low-key glazing because his vassal is standing on business against a pro. They go blow for blow, but Arenstein notices Vlad's blade is dulling. It doesn't matter though. Vlad is fighting with pure conviction. Pablo realizes Vlad's sword is literally howling. The bloom is imminent. Pablo decides to stop playing games and meet him head-on to let that potential max out. He's not just defending, he's trying to see if Vlad really has that dog in him. The energy is getting too heavy, so Pablo calls a timeout for a shield. He formally introduces himself, asking for the name of the boy with rights. Vlad hits him with the coldest line, "I'm the boy born without rights." Sheesh. We flash back to Vlad, leaving the sword behind, guided by a voice telling him he's valid. His eyes switch from blue to gold. Bro is entering his villain arc, but in a good way. He screams his name, Vlad of Shuara, and the aura becomes blinding. Even Joseph has to shield his eyes because the glow-up is too real. The aura is blinding, but Pablo isn't dodging. He stands 10 toes down, letting the golden light wash over him. He dares Vlad to strike. Vlad leaps into the air, aura swirling like a hurricane. This is the moment. Pablo plants his shield, ready to tank the hit. They collide, and the screen goes white. When the smoke clears, Vlad is down for the count. Literally 1 HP left. Pablo is sitting there smiling like a proud dad. He knows he just witnessed a core memory being made. Vlad is physically cooked, but his aura was immaculate. Indra immediately starts yapping, demanding a DQ because Vlad used aura. Major Karen energy from this guy. Pablo is not having it. He roasts Indra for caring about rules when they just saw something legendary, saying Indra is just waiting for fruit to drop instead of appreciating the bloom. Joseph and Jorger pull up to support Pablo. Pablo admits he helped Vlad hit his peak because it was the right thing to do. They ask the priest, did he use aura? Yes. Now they have a problem. Dual rules versus the Swordmaster's code are beefing. The priest is sweating because the Swordmaster's code is OG. It belongs to the first king. Joseph drops the mic. The rules and the code are conflicting. He asks Indra if he wants to choose honor or duty, but nobody has the rank to decide. So Joseph effectively gaslights the situation, sending the decision to the royal palace. The match is postponed. No winner yet. The narrative shifts to the idea that every young legend deserves to let their flower bloom. The first king's voice confirms this is the ultimate vibe check for knights. Vlad wakes up at the Hanel mansion, body wrecked, looking like a mummy. He asks for water, thinking it's Goethe, but it's actually Joseph playing nurse. Talk about a jump scare. Joseph is chill though, telling him the duel outcome is on hold. Vlad starts dissociating, daydreaming about being a full knight in shiny armor. Joseph tells him to rest up because he doesn't want Vlad to speedrun his recovery. He sees Vlad's potential and wants him to heal properly before making moves. Joseph dips, leaving Vlad to think about his future. Princess Alicia is stressed, watching her ops walk away unpunished. Her knight tells her to trust the process, but she's tight about the lemon harvest failing. Just as she's lamenting her luck, she looks outside and sees Vlad fighting for his life on a horse. It's a total skill issue. He's flailing around like a fish out of water. Jorger is watching, looking purely disappointed. Vlad gets bucked off and is in agony. Duncan is confused, thinking riding is basic, but Alicia notes that not everyone is gifted with the same stats. Jorger smacks Vlad upside the head for being snarky about the horse. Goethe steps in to defend his bro, confirming Vlad actually mounted it earlier. The horse just hates Vlad's vibe. Jorger cancels training, leaving Vlad salty. Goethe trolls Vlad, suggesting he ride a cow instead. Vlad is feeling gate-kept by the horse until the inner voice speaks up. It tells him the animals are sensing his uncontrolled aura. He needs to master his momentum to stop scaring the beasts. Bro needs to fix his energy before he can ride. Jubert, the purple-haired spy, is trying to cope, telling himself the chaos wasn't his fault. Suddenly, Jorger spawns in front of him with a sword at his throat. Jubert tries to talk his way out of it with maximum charisma, calling Jorger a guard dog. Bad move. Jorger isn't here to talk. He stands on business. He rocks Jubert's jaw, putting him in the dirt. Jubert realizes he's cooked and surrenders. Jorger makes it clear they might be in the same line of work, but Jorger has hands. Message received. Jubert is absolutely salty after the tournament, practically limping away while promising he'll catch the Bayezid crew outside later. He's talking about war and chaos like a total villain arc in the making, but Jorger just watches him leave. Meanwhile, Vlad heads back to the graveyard tree for a little side quest. He tells the voice to hit up that snake spirit again. The voice is shook that the snake actually recognized Vlad last time, calling it a glitch in the Matrix. Vlad, not wanting to get caught lacking by the princess again, stabs his sword into the ground to respawn the spirit. Instantly, the white serpent appears, getting way too close for personal space. It's literally nose to nose, sizing Vlad up like it's checking his vibe. The snake is acting super sus, squirming around and making erratic moves. Vlad is low-key stressed, asking what the deal is. But the voice is just yapping about how spirits are built different and mortals can't understand their logic. Classic NPC dialogue. Suddenly, the snake goes full magical girl transformation mode. It starts floating, the grass glows, and the air starts buzzing with immaculate energy. Vlad finally clicks that this isn't a fight, it's a buff. The snake is blessing him with the power of a forgotten enigma. While Vlad is getting this legendary drop, the scene switches to Joseph and the squad packing up. They stop by to say bye to Alicia, who is feeling guilty she couldn't throw a banquet. She's standing on business regarding her family's honor. Joseph is rizzing up the situation, telling Alicia not to worry about the party and to focus on fixing her family drama. His EQ is off the charts and Alicia is visibly grateful. But just when they try to dip, Sir Duncan hits them with a, "Wait a minute." He calls Vlad to the front for a surprise event. Vlad looks at his mentors like, "Am I in trouble?" But Joseph gives him the nod. Alicia steps up, dropping major praise on Vlad for saving her rep and exposing the lies. She says no amount of yapping can express her thanks, so she pulls out a purple handkerchief. She wants to entrust him with her name, basically saying he has more honor than actual knights. Joseph clocks this immediately as a 200 IQ political play. Vlad looks at the handkerchief and is severely underwhelmed. He's expecting gold or a weapon, and he gets a piece of cloth. His disappointment is caught in 4K. He almost rejects it until he remembers Jorger's lecture about accepting noble gifts. Basically, if you refuse, you get cooked. Not wanting another beatdown, he reluctantly grabs the cloth. But as soon as he touches it, the crowd gasps like he just dropped a bombshell. Jorger looks like he's dissociating, and Joseph starts sweating bullets. Turns out, Joseph forgot to teach the alley kid the specific lore about handkerchiefs. So Duncan looks drained and tells Vlad he accepted it the wrong way. The poor guy is just standing there with zero clue he messed up. So here's the tea. There are two ways to take a handkerchief. Hanging it on a sword means honor. Taking it by hand? That means love. Vlad just accidentally accepted a marriage proposal from a princess in front of everyone. He asks, "So how was I supposed to do it?" While the crowd is losing their minds. Alicia is blushing so hard, she's basically a tomato. Vlad, being the unintentional Riz god he is, just shrugs and says he'll use it well, completely missing the point. Later in the carriage, Joseph is roasting himself for forgetting to teach Vlad this, while Jorger scolds Vlad to check with him next time. But then Joseph drops the mic. Vlad is now an honorary knight. He went from slum rat to noble tier status in one speedrun. Vlad is shook. He never thought he'd get a title, but Joseph clarifies it's only valid in Denmark. Still, it's a massive glow-up. Joseph gets serious though, warning Vlad that if he loses that handkerchief, he's cooked because it's a symbol of Alicia's honor now. Vlad grips that cloth like his life depends on it. Then Joseph pulls out a receipt, the promissory note for 10,000 gold. He reveals Alicia never actually took the money. The whole thing was a trap to pressure Indra. Vlad starts to realize that high-level politics is just gaslighting and 4D chess. But before he can spiral, his instincts kick in. He hears something in the woods. His stats for detection are clearly maxed out because he senses danger before anyone else. A dust cloud pops up and an army rides toward them. Vlad goes into fight mode, ready to crash out, but Joseph tells him to chill. It's not ops, it's Joseph's secret unit. The Hidden Sword Squad pulls up, and their leader, a white-haired dude with crazy aura, bows to Joseph. He hands over a blood-stained sack. Major red flag. The leader clocks Vlad and asks if he's the kid who rizzed up Lady Alicia. News travels fast. Vlad is terrified of this guy. His instincts are screaming that this man is a demon. Joseph confirms Vlad's identity, but tells the assassin to save the glazing for later. The leader mentions he's just doing his job as the Hidden Sword, which is just a fancy word for hitman. Joseph asks if they want a ride, but the assassins dip because they're faster on horses. Vlad is left staring at the bloody sack, and Joseph hits him with some dark poetry about how the noble world is ruthless. Meanwhile, back at the Bayezid estate, the Count is getting reports. He hears about the first code being invoked and realizes Joseph and Vlad stood on business. The advisor mentions the duel, and the Count gets nostalgic about the golden generation. He's proud but also kinda sad, remembering how he plucked Vlad from the slums when he was just 1 HP. He knows only one of his sons can take the throne, and the competition is heating up. The drama is real. Back in Strama, the other vassals are gossiping about Vlad like he's a cryptid. Some say he manifested his own world, others think it's Cap. Sunin is hating as usual, refusing to believe a slum kid has aura. Vlad walks into the mess hall starving, and the whole room goes silent. It's awkward. He realizes the vibe has shifted. He's not just a peer anymore, he's a threat. He starts destroying a plate of sausages, annoyed by the staring. The chubby kid next to him is the only one passing the vibe check. He tells Vlad about the vacation week. Vlad has nowhere to go, so the kid invites him to his family's estate. Vlad is hesitant until the kid mentions they have top-tier horses, better than Jorga's. That gets Vlad's attention immediately. He's been needing a mount that doesn't crumble under his stats. The kid promises high-quality horses, and Vlad locks in the vacation plans. The chubby kid is hyped to finally have a friend over, but the wholesome vibes end fast because we cut to Jorger absolutely wrecking Vlad in training later. Wooden sword to the face, no mercy. Jorger is beating the lessons into him, reminding him that even with his new title, he still has a skill issue compared to a true master. Vlad takes the hits, but keeps getting up. He's leveling up the hard way, proving he's got that main character resilience. The vacation arc is coming, but first, he's got to survive the training montage. Jorger is absolutely cooking Vlad in the training ring right now. The knight is using one hand, literally barely trying, while Vlad is fighting for his life. Vlad tries to pull some high-level moves he saw in Dearmar, but Jorger isn't having it. He lands a critical hit that sends Vlad to 1 HP. Jorga starts yapping about how Vlad's getting too cocky and ignoring the basics. Vlad is too stunned to speak, gasping for air, which Jorga takes as disrespect. He crashes out, telling Vlad to dip if he thinks he's too good for training. It's a massive reality check, no cap. Vlad apologizes, realizing the knight stands on business and isn't playing around. Jorga watches Vlad walk away and admits the kid has aura, but he's worried. He thinks Vlad is fragile, like sand in the wind. Meanwhile, Vlad is in his feels in the hallway. The voice tells him to chill on the speedrun tactics. No great flower blooms without strong roots. Basically, stop trying to glitch the game and grind the basics. Vlad realizes Jorga was just trying to help him level up, not hate on him. The voice drops some wisdom, reminding him that aura is just potential, not skill. Vlad's mental state goes from cooked to locked in. Late that night, Vlad hits the woods to grind XP. He's swinging that sword on repeat, pure determination. He puts so much force into it, he literally scars the earth. The voice is like, "Yo, chill, you hit your daily limit," warning him not to burn out. But Vlad initially refuses to log off. He finally stops, letting the moonlight hit him and unlocks a new level of confidence. Up on the balcony, Jorga sees him glowing. He doesn't just see a vassal, he sees a wolf chasing the moon. The vibes are immaculate. Main character energy is overflowing right now as the scene transitions. Scene switch to Trinova, and it's straight up chaos. The whole county is on fire, literally not a vibe. Inside the throne room, it's a total pack watch. Godwin, that snake assassin from earlier, pulls up on the last surviving knight. The knight tries to talk no jutsu, warning Godwin about blind loyalty to the new regime. But Godwin hits him with the ratio plus didn't ask. He unalives the knight and sends a message to Count Gadar. Godwin is on pure demon time, moving with zero hesitation. The ops are officially making big moves and leaving receipts in blood. Back to the peaceful timeline. Joseph drops the news. Vlad is going on a vacay to the Connor household. Vlad is confused how he knew, but turns out Putri spilled the tea to everyone. The gossip chain went crazy. Jorga tries to act sus and innocent, but we know he snitched. Before Vlad dips, Jorga reminds him to stay strapped. Never lack, even on vacation. Joseph adds some advice about the horses, telling Vlad to vibe check them carefully. It's wholesome, but Joseph is definitely plotting something low-key. He reminds Vlad that gifts are optional, but definitely expected. Vlad gets summoned by Lady Oksana, Joseph's mom, and she's treating him like her personal dress-up doll. The fit check is serious. She says leather armor is his color. She gives him a new cloak and warns him about his accidental riz, reminding him not to propose to princesses by mistake again. Vlad is dying of cringe, caught in 4K with that memory. She claims him as her son, telling him not to embarrass the family name. She even gives him lemons as a gift. It's giving wholesome mom energy, but Vlad is shook by the affection and promises to behave. Vlad leaves the room, but the vibe shifts instantly. He catches his reflection in a glass window and sees his old self, the slum kid, staring back. He also hallucinates Jamina looking at him. The imposter syndrome hits different. He feels guilty for leveling up while his friends are likely suffering. He wonders if Gemina is doing okay in the convent, but the guilt is living rent-free in his head. He can't even look at the reflection without feeling like he betrayed his roots. He pushes the thought away, but the mental damage is done. Speaking of Gemina, she's down bad at the convent. The other nuns are gossiping about this handsome new vassal with insane aura, wondering if he's single. Gemina hears the description and immediately thinks, ain't no way that's Vlad. She denies it because she thinks he's still a broke NPC like her. The other nuns start bullying her, calling her lowborn and telling her to scrub dishes or get kicked out. Jemina takes the L with a smile, but deep down she's hurting. It's a toxic work environment, FR, and she has no one to back her up. Flashback time, and it's tragic. We see how Jemina got here. Marcella tried to drop the girls off, but the head nun was gatekeeping hard, saying they were unclean. Marcella had to flex her cash just to get them in the door, but then the ops pulled up, thugs looking for trouble. Marcella tanked the aggro, sacrificing herself so the girls could get inside the safe zone. Jemina watched her get dragged away into the woods. Back in the present, Jemina is crying while scrubbing. The trauma is real, and she misses the squad. Back to Vlad, who just arrived at the Connor estate. This place is huge. Total pay-to-win architecture. Potri spots the old butler and goes full wholesome mode, tackling him with a hug. The butler is chilling, happy to see the kid. Vlad, however, is strictly business. He asks to see the horses immediately. He's not here for the tour or the luxury. He's here to fix his mount issue. He's locked in on the objective. The grind never stops, even on vacation. He's ready to see if these horses can handle his spirit. Vlad's visit to the stables is an absolute flop. The horses are terrified, acting like he's got the ultimate bad vibes. He's feeling straight up cooked, embarrassed to the core, as even the sheep want zero parts of him. He's ready to rage quit, thinking if he can't ride, his aura mastery is useless. He imagines choking on dust while other knights zoom past him. But Potri isn't letting his bro crash out. He steps up with that bestie energy, promising to help Vlad find a mount that stands on business. He hypes Vlad up, telling him to trust the process and just enjoy the dinner for now. Later, the Knorr estate is buzzing for a feast. Potri takes Vlad to the kitchen and the smells are immaculate. Potri introduces Vlad to his dad, Lord Orson. Vlad tries to be humble, but Orson starts glazing him immediately, calling him a genius vassal who woke up the Swordmaster's discipline. To Orson, Vlad is basically an influencer in the night world with massive clout. He's hyped to host him, but then Vlad spots another guest and freezes. He realizes the dinner party includes the backseat crew, and he's worried the vibes are about to get toxic. It's Sir Rüdiger chilling at the table. Vlad is shook, remembering he ignored Rüdiger's nuts earlier. Total accidental disrespect. He expects to get jumped or ratioed by the backseat knights who are glaring at him, but Rüdiger just grins and invites him to sit. The man has crazy aura. Vlad realizes backing down is beta behavior, so he locks in and joins them. Rüdiger finds the tension funny and casually invites Vlad to hang out the next day. It's an unexpected olive branch, but Vlad still feels like he's walking on eggshells. Next day, they go riding. Vlad is struggling until Dorothea, a beast woman mage, pulls up. She immediately starts roasting him. She's confused why a backseat knight can't ride and has zero aura presence. Vlad tries to clap back, but she calls him racist. It's a mess. She accuses him of discrimination. He accuses her of yapping too much. Rüdiger has to step in before they start a war. Dorothea is pressed, sulking about Vlad's attitude, while Vlad is just annoyed he's stuck on this boring vacation instead of grinding. The crew spots some pilgrims, and Rüdiger signals they're friendly, but the vibe shifts when they see a black stallion on a cliff. Vlad feels a disturbance in the force. His heart rate spikes. Suddenly, a stampede of horses comes barreling towards them, running for their lives. Rüdiger realizes these horses are fleeing something massive. Vlad locks eyes with the lead horse and knows it's not just panic, it's primal fear. Something wicked is coming, no cap, and the calm trip is officially over. The ground explodes. A deathworm breaches, looking absolutely grotesque. It's not just big, it's wrong. It snaps a horse in half, and Dorothea realizes this thing is glitching. Deathworms aren't supposed to be carnivores. It's got some corrupted energy pulsing from its head. The stampede is now heading straight for the pilgrims, with the worm chasing them like a heat-seeking missile. It's a worst-case scenario, and everyone is frozen in terror except the main players who need to act fast. Rüdiger asks Dorothea for a strat, but she's lagging. She knows the worm detects vibrations, but is too scared to think. Rüdiger decides to take matters into his own hands. He orders Vlad to get Dorothea to high ground and then turns to his squad. He gives a speech about protecting the innocent, activating his hero complex. He knows it's dangerous, but he refuses to let the pilgrims get cooked. He charges in, convinced someone orchestrated this chaos, and he's ready to stand on business against the monster. Vlad watches from the ridge as Rüdiger engages the beast. The knight is surrounded by fire, fighting inside a literal tornado. It's cinematic gold, but the voice in Vlad's head calls it mid, saying Rüdiger's technique is shallow against such a monster. Rüdiger is taunting the worm, dodging massive slams with high-tier agility. He's fighting for his life, proving why he's a top-tier knight, but the size difference is insane. He's tanking the aggro like a boss, barely surviving the impacts. The worm burrows underground, and Rüdiger orders a scan. They realize it's tunneling towards the pilgrims again. The man is relentless. He chases after it, yelling for his team. Up on the hill, Vlad is losing patience with Dorothea. She's fumbling with her gems, trying to remember the spell. Vlad snaps at her to lock in because people are about to die. She claps back, telling him to respect the sacred arts, but finally gets the signal ready. The tension is high, and Vlad is fighting the urge to rage. Dorothea finishes the spell, but claims she's out of mana and can't walk. She hands a magic signal paper to Potri, calling him fatty and telling him to run it to Rüdiger. Since Vlad has zero riding skills, he's useless for the delivery mission. Potri is shocked he's being drafted into the war zone, but there's no choice. Dorothea explains he just needs to tear the paper to trigger the trap. It's up to Potri to clutch this win, or everyone is doomed. The stakes have never been higher. So, the situation is looking absolutely cooked. The voice in Vlad's head is being toxic, basically telling him, "Bro, you can't even ride a horse. You're gonna get speed blitzed by a worm that moves underground." Vlad realizes the Rudiger Knights are too slow to catch this thing, and that hits him different. He locks in, realizing he has to clutch this solo. He swipes the bait paper from Patri without explaining anything. Total main character syndrome, and just yeets himself off the cliff. Dorothea is screaming at him, thinking he's actually lost the plot, calling him a lunatic, and honestly, valid. Bro just dove into the abyss. Vlad is midair, life flashing before his eyes, thinking about the political beef between Lord Joseph and Rudiger, but mostly traumatized by the memory of his home getting wiped. The voice tells him to channel strength to his toes, but Vlad trips on a rock immediately. 10-10 agility. He crashes hard, and for a second, everybody thinks he's unalive. Potri is crying, thinking it's over, while Dorothea is just confused how Blondie tanked that fall. Vlad stands up, dusting himself off like it was nothing, admitting he thought he'd break a bone. But here's the plot twist. The snake's blessing is basically a cheat code that absorbed the impact. Suddenly, that mysterious black horse from earlier pulls up, staring at Vlad like he's got unspoken riz. Vlad starts glowing with this blue aura, and the horse is looking at him with pure longing. The voice hypes it up, saying the blessing is the only reason Vlad isn't paced right now. Vlad is shook by his own glow-up. He wants to hit up that magic tree later, but right now, the mission is saving the pilgrims. He starts sprinting, but then freezes. He spots Priest Andrea among the pilgrims. It's not just random NPCs, it's people he knows. The death worm is closing in, and Rudiger is nowhere to be seen. It's panic mode. Vlad realizes the death worm is gonna spawn camp the pilgrims before help arrives. He looks at the marking spell in his hand. The voice calls it fate, saying the universe is forcing him to make an impossible choice. Vlad curses, knowing he has to draw the aggro onto himself. No hesitation, he activates the spell, slamming his sword into the ground to create vibrations. The voice is like, "Nah, louder," telling him to amplify the vibes until the whole server shakes. Vlad pushes his limits, body lighting up, literally summoning the boss fight. It works. The deathworm bursts out of the ground looking for smoke. Rudiger and the squad are stunned. Vlad stands on business, sword drawn, facing a literal dragon remnant. The monster lunges, jaws wide open, but Vlad hits a perfect sidestep dodge. He gets sent skidding back but stays on his feet. The voice warns him that he's underleveled for this fight, but gives him props for holding the line. The voice tells Vlad his current world isn't deep enough to tank this monster, suggesting he should tactically retreat. But Vlad sees the riders are too far away. He has to stall. The worm tries to swallow him whole again, but Vlad doesn't flinch. The worm dives underground, causing shockwaves that ragdoll Vlad across the field. He gets up, annoyed that the monster is playing hide-and-seek. He checks the hole. Nothing. Then he realizes the worm ghosted him to go after the pilgrims. Panic sets in, but then the ground cracks beneath him. It was a bait. The worm comes from below. The voice screams, "Move!" But it's too late. Vlad gets swallowed whole. It looks like game over. Rudiger sees this and refuses to accept it, galloping full speed. But then, out of the dust, Vlad bursts out, riding the black horse? And not just riding it, the horse has this spirit aura. Vlad escaped the belly of the beast and unlocked a mount mid-fight. Rudiger is absolutely floored. Vlad is confused too, feeling like he's in a fever dream. The voice explains the horse is a spirit with the blood of a one-horned beast. A spectral sickle forms on its forehead, basically a ghost unicorn. They start zooming, and Vlad is loving the speed, feeling the wind in his hair. Rudiger catches up, checking if Vlad is okay, and notices Vlad's sword is glowing and bonded to him. Rudiger realizes this kid has more guts than his entire squad combined. He gives Vlad his flowers, saying that sacrifice was honorable. Rudiger asks if Vlad can control the horse. Vlad is like, IDK maybe? But they need a plan. Rudiger decides to handle the worm himself, telling Vlad to be the decoy. Vlad hesitates, scared of the dragon remnant, but seeing Rudiger's confidence gives him a buff. He looks at the horse, realizing it's fighting for its kind too. They lock in together. The plan is simple. Vlad kites the monster. He confirms he can handle the aggro and peels off. The death worm immediately chases him. Vlad pushes the black stallion, and this horse is fast. Like, glitching through reality fast. The knights watch in awe. Vlad and this horse are a dynamic duo, but the worm is gaining. The voice instructs Vlad to lower his sword and let it drag on the ground to create vibrations. He does it, and the blade erupts with power, creating a glowing trail. The worm thinks it's chasing a dragon's light. Vlad realizes the monster is drawn to the energy inside him. Meanwhile, Rudiger reaches the defense point. He taps his sword, and instantly, the ground turns into magma. Bro literally popped a domain expansion. Vlad sees the lava field and is stunned. The voice admits Rudiger isn't just a chill leader, he's secretly cracked at the game. Rudiger has expanded his world to create a kill zone. Vlad is shook by the power level difference. Rudiger could burn everything down if he wanted. But back to the chase. The death worm is inches away from snacking on Vlad. Suddenly, the worm hits the brakes. It senses Rudiger's massive magma energy and decides that's a bigger threat. It switches targets, completely ignoring Vlad to rush Rudiger. The voice starts cursing, realizing the plan failed because Rudiger is too OP. Vlad is frustrated, feeling useless. He tries to turn the horse, but the horse goes rogue. It starts doing 360s, spinning so fast it creates afterimages. It's taunting the worm. Vlad is dizzy, screaming at the horse, but the horse is on demon time. It lets out a loud neigh and begins to glow. The voice realizes the horse and Vlad's snake blessing are resonating. A glowing horn manifests on the horse's forehead. It's fully evolving into a unicorn. The voice drops some lore. Deep memories of the world are waking up. The death worm is confused, waiting for an opening. But Vlad and the horse are now fully synced. It's a knight without a horse meeting a unicorn without a horn. Together, they complete each other. It sounds cringe, but in action, it's pure aura. They become a single white star against the dark sky. The horse charges with explosive speed. Vlad grips his sword, ready to intercept. Meanwhile, Rudiger's sword is glowing red hot, radiating heat that distorts the air. The voice warns that Rudiger is still charging his ultimate and the worm might lose interest in them again. Vlad grunts, pushing his aura to the limit to keep the monster's attention. He's running on fumes, but the horse refuses to slow down. The synergy is insane. Vlad and the spirit horse are basically one unit now, tanking the pressure. Rudiger's men finally arrive with reinforcements, shouting encouragement like a hype squad. Their eyes start glowing too, fueled by the ambient energy. The voice notes this shift might be just enough to turn the tide. One knight breaks formation to catch up to Vlad, screaming for him to hold on. The battlefield is chaotic. Magma on one side, a glowing unicorn knight on the other, and a giant worm in the middle. Vlad knows this is the final stretch. If he drops the combo now, everyone is cooked. He channels everything he has left into the sword, preparing to clash with the beast one last time before Rudiger drops the nuke. The energy is peaking. Rudiger finally locks in, his eyes blazing like he just popped an ult. He sees Vlad successfully kiting the death worm and gives a nod. The bait worked. Now it's Rudiger's turn to stand on business. He literally hits domain expansion, turning the battlefield into a lava-infused nightmare. He's furious that this worm dared to enter his turf. He yeets a massive fire tornado at the beast, followed by a pillar of flame from the sky. It's an absolute nuke. The worm gets completely cooked, vanishing into the inferno. Even the pilgrims are shook, frozen in terror at the sheer destructive power. It's not just a fight, it's a cinematics cutscene. While the knights are hyping up their commander, Vlad is stuck in a trance. He's witnessing a real world, the level of a knight who has truly self-reflected. It defies logic. He starts spiraling, wondering if even Godwin or Pablo have this kind of aura. Then the big question hits, can I do this? The voice chimes in with a rare W, telling him he can reach this level if his own mental world becomes unshakable. The worm is gone, deleted from the server. Vlad walks up to Rudiger, who is just vibing by the smoldering crater. Rudiger welcomes him back, but the man is drained. He tries to stand, but his legs give out. Mana depleted. Rudiger jokes about Vlad just watching him struggle, so Vlad drops to the ground too. Solidarity. They have a quiet moment, and Rudiger randomly compliments Vlad's writing skills based on rumors, which Vlad has to clear up. They both look at the black horse. That beast is cracked. Suddenly, the hype squad arrives. The knights are glazing Vlad hard, saying his performance was so OP, they might open up vassal slots for him. But then Priest Andreas pulls up, acting super emotional. He saw a light during Vlad's battle and is convinced Vlad is the main character chosen by God. Andreas drops to his knees and grabs Vlad's hands, calling him Vlad of Shoara. Vlad is confused, but the priest is full on praying, declaring that this boy has immense riz with the divine. He asks for blessings on this radiant boy.